building up a platform where hope can be
Welcome to
seen.
the Nikki Clarke Show. I'm your host, Dr.
Every
Nikki
story
Clarke,
matters.
and we are so excited to be back on another stellar episode of the show. The show is where we celebrate inspiring stories, meaningful conversations, and individuals who are making a positive impact in the world. And today's guest is Rebecca Jeremiah, a licensed massage therapist, a registered yoga teacher, wellness educator, music creator, autism advocate, and also she'll talk about her pageantry work later in the conversation. So through her work and lived experience as a neurodivergent professional, Rebecca is passionate about helping others discover healing, resilience, and self-acceptance by combining wellness practices, education, and advocacy. She is empowering people to embrace their unique strengths and recognize that everyone has the potential to thrive. Welcome, Rebecca, to the show. Great to see you.
Hi, I am honored to be on the show. This is exciting for me. I am really excited to be here and to share with you some of my unique perspectives on things. And it's just an honor to be on here and women supporting women for sure.
Yes, I love that. I embrace that. So, Rebecca, tell us about your journey and what inspired your work in wellness and advocacy.
So I would have to say my own healing journey became with personally having autism, personally having a divergent nervous system, dealing with long COVID. I had got a lot of what 3 million Americans have today is POTS and dysautonomia. And just learning about the nervous system on a whole, that is what I went down. Autistics, we love to have the details and the kind of like
Yeah.
the inside of scoop of what's going on. And I was thinking, I was like, well, if they're saying that yoga and this is a healing thing for my nervous system, I did a deep dive. And first I started out doing 200 hours, and then I was like, wait a minute, I'm not ready to teach my students yet. So I added another 300 hours, and I even then was finding that I was forgetting to regulate my nervous system, and being a practitioner helps remind me to be mindful of, even, if you're on a show, or if you're, life is a show basically. If
Yeah.
you're doing some things, you you got to be mindful of, like, what are you feeling in your body? Like, what's causing the anxiety? What's causing the issue with the nervous system? And I had to track my symptoms daily, just to seeing multiple doctors, navigating a healthcare system that's not always user friendly. Um, this actually helped me with my journey be a better practitioner, because I can relate with the student. And I
Yes.
had a mentor that's she does mindfulness, and she said, what about being a student with your students? And I said, that's a
Mm.
great idea, because my students are my biggest teachers. We're always learning, and having that mindset to continue to be a student, even when you're teaching something as difficult as being mindful. My mother was telling me that there was a study done that just calming your mind for 1 minute of just not thinking about anything. And when I
Mhm.
tried to do the exercise, being mindful is a practice. And you're
Yes.
not always going to be perfect at it, but this will help you regulate your nervous system. And that's something that it releases physical tension, with also incorporate massage therapy. I'm a licensed massage therapist. While yoga encourages movement and breath, the
Mhm.
massage also encourages release of tension, and together they can be a powerful approach to healing. So those are
Mm,
some journeys, and I like the fact that, I mean, it's completely natural too. And that you're
yes.
not, that's something that you can do. And I know that it gets oversaturated and people get prescribed it like without, a lot of people will get like, oh no, they're telling me to do yoga. And you would be surprised at how many people think that they can't do yoga, but yoga is for everybody. Union
Hmm.
with mind, body, and spirit. And when I begin a class, I like for people to tune in where I do a progressive muscle relaxation at the beginning of my class and the end of my class. So you're mindful of where your
Hmm.
tension areas are, tuning into those areas, and being gentle with the areas. You don't want to push yourself into something that's going to hurt. So
Hmm.
those are some things that really helped me. And then also gratitude. Did you know that being grateful and writing the things that you're grateful for boosts serotonin in the brain? Like
Hmm.
something as simple as being thankful. So I even get thankful because my health issues are so, they are very complex and I never know day to day what my body's going to do. I thank my body for being able to do that class. And I thank the students. And sometimes there's adaptation and modification. I learned a lot of different techniques to help with those different things. And sometimes it's just a different way of doing things. And that doesn't make it wrong. So, well, that's why I have such a passion for doing this. And then I went on a journey to learn about sound healing, which helps with the polyvagal theory. The polyvagal theory, which helps regulate the vagus nerve. And these very smart psychologists, I don't have his name in front of me, but he came up with it. And it basically, certain breath work, certain movements will help tone the vagus nerve. It doesn't cure it. That's not a replacement for your doctor and your therapist, obviously, but it's something that I incorporate in with my music. Even when I'm sleeping, I would like to regulate my nervous system. And so
Hmm. Hmm.
I have a sound album and then I have a dance album because I love somatic movement. And I didn't know that a lot of tension was stored in the hips. And I learned that from my class. And then when I started, I was like, wait, this is stuff I was doing in Zumba class. And I used to teach
Yeah.
Zumba, but I got into more of the somatic type salsa and movement because there are people that have been through injuries. If you've read the book, The Body Keeps the Score, your body definitely does. And you have to honor those things. So, those are some things I got into with writing my music. And also, different breath work is required, I just as we have bees breath in yoga, we have lion's breath, which helps, regulate that vagus nerve. But we do different types of breath work in singing. And that brought me
Hmm.
back to my singing roots as well. So I think that if you're incorporating all music, mindfulness, massage, all of it together is just a recipe for healing in my book. As far as I can only speak from lived experience and what my students have told me they've experienced. I'm not going to say that it's a cure because
Hmm.
I'm not a doctor. I can't make those claims, but I can say it can help, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for describing such a powerful, lived experience of, so many things that you do that have not only healed yourself, but what you are giving back to heal the community. So thank you for sharing that. So the question I have for you, and this is relating to being an advocate for autism. What are some of the misconceptions about autism that you would like to help change?
Well, I would like to change that autism doesn't have a look. There are misconceptions that I can't tell you how many people, whenever I came out, that I was autistic, how many people say, well, you don't look autistic. And there's not a look. There's
Right.
also there it has many strengths. And that's why I like the Autism Self Advocacy Network. It perpetuates not the etiology, not saying autism is a disorder, or it's telling you the strengths and weaknesses. And there's a misconception that we don't have empathy. And our empathy looks different. So, as far as like they think we lack, and many of us feel like really deep emotions. That's why you may hear somebody say, I'm having an autism meltdown. Well, what is that? It occurs when a lot of people think it's a tantrum or someone not getting their way. It's overstimulation. Like, we hear things louder, we see things brighter, we can taste things in food that's a little bit louder as well. Tactile sensitivities, sensory sensitivities. So when you have a sensitive nervous system, it's not going to respond to the world was not designed for a sensitive nervous system. So we have to learn how to regulate that nervous system. And sometimes we can't control how our nervous system responds because of how sensitive it is.
Right.
And that's misconceptions I wish would change.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, like, on my 40th birthday, 4 days after my 40th birthday, the Autism Self Advocacy Network came out with an autistic Barbie. Do you mind if I go get her? I want to show you.
But yeah,
I'll be
please.
right. Yes. But this is the autistic Barbie. And
Wow.
40 years later, we have a Barbie. Now, there were a lot of misconceptions still flying around the internet. What I like about this is, she's represented, she is of African American descent, which the African American population was underserviced in people didn't feel like they were autistic because of certain race or gender. And that's another misconception. And so I like how the Autism Self Advocacy Network made her diverse. She has her noise canceling headphones on, which I use, and a fidget spinner and an ACA device. I learned how to talk on
Wow.
one of these things.
Amazing.
And
That is just
my
amazing.
favorite color, purple. So
Oh, it's mine
there
too.
were,
You can see in the
so
background.
I bought two of them. Okay. I bought one for my daughter and then as a collectible. And then I bought one to where I could like show people like what I could open her up and show her. And the Autism Self Advocacy Network made her.
That's
And
beautiful.
so I'm just so excited that we actually have a Barbie, and I got so excited about it, but the internet was just kind of mean about it. And I was so surprised because being an advocate for 22 years, I didn't believe. And then I did some research, and I was like, 70% of people still don't understand autism. That's kind
Mhm.
of like alarming for me, and I said we got a lot more work to do as advocates, because we really want
Yes.
people to see our differences, and our differences unite us. Division's never the goal, but
Never the goal.
it's no. And I think that we have a lot more work to do in the future, because the comment section on the Barbie was very negative,
Mhm.
and it kind of broke my heart a little bit, because I wanted we were excited to get a Barbie, and then the comment section wasn't excited, and I was just surprised by that.
Yeah, I can just imagine. So let's talk about resilience. What
Yes.
role has resilience played throughout your life?
So I'm going to give you an example as our first time talking. It was in my IEP, and if you have been to college, vocational rehab usually does your IEP as an adult. They wrote that I was never going to be able to graduate with occupational therapy, not even the assistant role.
Mm.
And it took me, and I was 30, I was 32 when I graduated. I graduated with honors. And I tell
Love it.
people you're your only limit. When I was giving my speech at my honors gala, and these are gifts that God has given me. Because if I would have
Yes.
listened to the educators and what they said to me, I wouldn't have accomplished my goal. I would have been like, oh, they're right. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But I thought about Philippians 4:13. I can do
Mm-hmm.
all things through Christ, which strengthens me. So if I have an inner strength and I'm tuning in, and you may not believe in Jesus, and you may believe in a different religion, tuning in and really finding that power within, it gave me a whole new perspective.
Yes.
And it gave me the ability to say, you're not going to tell me what I can't do. I'm going to show you what I
Mm-hmm.
can do. I
What
can
you
show you
can
what I
do.
can do through Christ, what I can do through Christ, what I can do. And it's just, I just needed accommodations in school, learning accommodations. And with learning accommodations, I was not only able to pass the classes, I was able to graduate with a 3.8 GPA. And
I
that
love
might
it.
not be, so that's something that I can tell people, that I tell them you're your only limit. And, if you're dealing with certain systematic failures in the system, like as far as healthcare or education, don't give up. My motto is never give up,
Never give up. I love
because if they expect you to give up.
it. But you should never give up. Very wise words. What advice, Rebecca, would you give someone who feels different or struggles with self-acceptance?
Well, my advice is to find out why you're not accepting yourself. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
why is that inside of you? And as I had spoke before, hate is taught. And I realized when I was going on my self-acceptance journey that a lot of the things that I hated about myself were really other people's projections. And
Mm-hmm.
I really dug deep, and I realized that those negative voices were coming from other people. Figure out whose voice is inside your head. Is it social media? Is it feeling like you can't measure up? Is it something is your inner child? What is it that is making you feel that you aren't worthy? Because I can tell you this, you are more than worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
say this tearing up. Don't ignore self-hatred, because it's going to eat you alive like a virus. And once you overcome self-hatred, you're unstoppable. Because how many times has someone come out with a brilliant business plan or a brilliant
Mm-hmm.
idea, and it stemmed from deep self-hatred and deep pain, and they're like, remember, just thinking about a clothing line. Maybe not all women were included. Maybe you had a curvy body type and you didn't feel accepted by those people. Are you going to let their voices, are you going to let them tell you, or are you going to let their voices be your destiny, or are you going to be your own destiny?
Right.
Is the question you have to really ask. You have to do a lot of self reflection. You have to do a lot of things that are uncomfortable. That work is so hard. I can tell you, when I was going through some self love coaching, there were days that I didn't want to do the exercises, and I did them anyway because I knew if it was challenging, the work needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that your voice matters, your experience matter, your perspective matters. And there's a place for you exactly as you are. The biggest differences can become your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
And don't don't ignore your strengths because other people have. Don't ignore the positive things about yourself just because you've been misunderstood or counted out. I'm part of the misfits. Let me tell you. I mean, it's lonely at the top, but you're going to get there. How do I know?
You're gonna.
Because I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been crying on a
Wow.
Tuesday and then woke up and accomplished a class on a Friday. It's it's about perspective. It's about shifting that perspective,
Mm-hmm.
shifting that internal critic. You
Yeah.
ever heard of the saying, you're your own worst enemy? Don't be your own worst enemy. Learn to love yourself. That's the
Learn to live.
biggest thing I could say. Learn to love yourself. You may not love yourself right now, but try to love yourself. You give yourself grace as well. Don't be so hard on yourself as well. So
Mm-hmm.
those are some things that are hard because we give other people grace. Talk to yourself like you would your best friend.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Be kind to yourself. So, so true. I want to ask you this question because I'm so excited for April next year. If you could tell us a little bit about your upcoming pageant.
So I got approached about a year and a half ago about doing this pageant. And it's a little bit outside of my comfort zone because, as I told you, my brother is the one that majored in environmental studies. I have a little old associate's degree in occupational therapy. And this pageant just gives me it helps you be aware of, not only do you get to wear all the sparkles, which is what I love. I mean, anything shiny, I'm excited about. You are
Same.
making an impact on your environment. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you are learning that, and there is other divisions in Canada as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about doing a pageant, so maybe you'll be doing one next year. Um,
So honored.
I mean, I it's you're making an impact on the environment and you're being more environmentally aware. And my big platform this year is data annotation centers need to be moved to a colder climate. We're using up a lot of water and using solar panels, being mindful. AI makes things accessible for persons with disabilities that may not be able to afford something otherwise. Like, for example, a recording studio. You can pay $100 a year for a recording studio versus $150 an hour if you're wanting
Mm-hmm.
to do certain things. But why not us save water,
Mm-hmm.
and be environmentally conscious of how we use it? And it broke my heart when I saw on Facebook that the turtles in Florida are don't have any water. And I want to be able to make an impact. I'm also doing something called Toys Imagined, Reimagined, where I've done this for many years with my daughter, where we take gently used toys, and we'll give it to children that have maybe they've lost everything in a fire, or maybe they've been through a something that they've lost their items and they have to start over. Giving those kids something reimagined. Like my daughter, she might have imagined the toy to be the Wizard of Oz, and this other child might imagine her to be Barbie. I mean,
Right.
so toys are reimagined through different eyes, through different packaging, and we can also make an impact. And I'm also big on going to thrift stores instead of going to retail stores. Before I have found some amazing items, at thrift stores, even with the tags still on them, and it's better for the environment.
Mhm.
They don't use shopping, those plastic. You bring your own shopping bags, and I think it's better on your wallet, and it's better for the environment to get things that are used. And those, I mean, and I know it may make some people go, "Oh, I don't want to do that." Well, then if there's other creative ways you can do that. Where, let's say you've got clothes in your closet, you can have your girlfriends come together and gently swap clothing, have like a shop and swap type thing.
Mhm.
And that's something you can do, because we all have, as women, have been guilty of going in the closet and being like, man, I just don't have anything to wear. And those items are usually items that they either don't fit right, need to be tailored, or they need to be reused and swapped out for something else. And it's something you could do with your friends, and it's good for the environment. You can't recycle clothes. So those are different ways you can recycle clothes. So that's like my main goal this year, is to get people to make our parks and things beautiful again. Maybe there was a dress in my closet that I only wore one time for an event, and somebody might wear it 12 or 15 times for an event. It's something you can do, and it doesn't cost anything other than
Absolutely.
time.
Other than time. I love it. And we're talking about the Mrs. Earth pageant that's
Yes,
coming up.
I'm Mrs. Arkansas Earth 2026 and 2027. And I have I this will be my first year doing this pageant. I was doing pageants when my pageant coach, Melissa Larson, we actually have a television show that she has a startup channel in Hot Springs called W Now TV. And I love doing 55 Days of Christmas. It's my favorite holiday. And you best believe one year I did 55 Christmas sweaters. 55 different
Wow.
55 different Christmas sweaters. I had to go to like 6 different thrift stores. but I, but after I was finished using the Christmas sweaters, I donated them to families that would need them, and it was just a fun way to just give holiday cheer, something silly, something that was really inexpensive. And my character on the show is called Becca Joy, because I'm bringing the joy of Christmas to everybody. And
Yes.
it's a fun little show. Some days I would go on the show as my pageant title, and then some days I'd go as the Christmas character Becca Joy. Just never knew what you were gonna get on the show, and it was fun, and it's something I really enjoy doing as well.
I love it. This is amazing. Wow. I am so inspired by you. And we're coming down to the close of our conversation with some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Okay. We're gonna
Here we
see. We're
go.
gonna see if my Toastmasters has been paying off. Okay.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
We're doing tea these days. I used to be a
Tea.
coffee person, but tea.
Tea. Yoga or meditation?
We're going to do yoga. I have to do something while I'm meditating.
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
One word that describes your journey.
Resilience.
A song that inspires you.
That is going to be a song that inspires me would have to be my friend Tabitha Joplin is Titanium Heart and Queen of the After Party.
Love it. What brings you peace?
Brings me peace is God.
One piece of advice for your younger self.
To be yourself, everyone else is already taken.
Brilliant, brilliant. I want to thank you so much, Rebecca Jeremiah. You're truly a joy. I appreciate your pearls of wisdom. And please tell us how we can support what you're doing, your pageant work, how to support your advocacy for autism. Where can people go?
So on my Instagram, I have a buy me a coffee. It's called Autism Voices Unified. You can go on and you can purchase. You can do it for $10, 20, whatever you would want to do those things to help someone else on their journey to finding their voice. Also, you can go on Rebecca Jeremiah, my YouTube and Spotify channel, and check out some of the music. And just it's free to go on. Amazon Music has got 4 months free. So you can listen to my music for free. And if my music isn't your cup of tea, you could listen to your favorite artist for free for 4 months. So I'm on Amazon, Apple, YouTube, and these are all free channels. It just costs time to support someone. And that's all I'm asking is just go on there, hit follow and like, subscribe, and that doesn't cost anything but your time.
Doesn't cost a thing. Thank you so much,
Oh, for sure.
Rebecca Jeremiah. Thank you for sharing your inspiring journey with us. Your work is helping people see autism, wellness, and resilience through a lens of hope, understanding, possibility, and joy. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. It was an honor.
Bye for now. Thank you so much for everyone joining us. Please follow Rebecca Jeremiah on social media. She's got incredible information for you on her social media handles. And we'll see you the next story that transforms. Bye for now.